Hey guys, Bleaks here, back with another video. Video is going to be a NG0 guide on the Ranger. Ranger is one of the three range classes you can start off the game with. He is an archer type character, and arguably the best character to start the game off with. Ranger's main ability and primary ability, the long range bow shot, shoots arrows in a direction, and shoots faster while not moving. Ranger's second ability is flurry of arrows. Ranger will spin in a circle and shoot arrows in all directions, dealing AoE damage. Ranger's third ability is called Grasping Roots. It will snare enemies around the Ranger and reduce their armor. The Ranger also has a fourth activated ability, but we're not going to be using it in this video, or recommend it for NG0. The Power Shot is an ability that takes a moment to charge up, shoots a long range arrow that does magic damage, and ignores enemy resistances. Moving on to the Ranger's passives. First passive is called On the Prowl. When casting a skill, the Ranger receives a buff that lasts for 2.5 seconds. The buff increases movement speed by 25% and grants 5% evasion against all incoming damage. The duration and evasion increases as you rank up the skill. His next passive is called Marked Prey. Bowshot, his primary attack, has a 5% chance to crit and apply Mark to the enemy for 2.5 seconds. Marked targets have a 5% chance to receive critical damage from all sources of damage. And this one also increases its chance to activate as you rank. Next we have Twinned Arrows. Twinned Arrows allows arrows from the bow shot to have a 25% chance of splitting, peeking into target, and that percentage will be upgraded as you upgrade Twinned Arrows. So the priority for ranking up the Ranger skills are going to be Twinned Arrows. If you don't have tier 4 unlocked yet, you can just skip it, and once you unlock tier 4, put it at the top of your priority. Next up will be ranks of Bowshot. Bowshot is going to be your main damage. The Ranger is also a little different than other characters. A lot of his other damage scales off of his primary attack. So you want to rank up Bowshot as much as possible. From there, I would get 1 point in Grasping Roots, just to have a way to create a distance between yourself and the enemies by using the snare. Next, I would grab On the Prowl for the movement speed and evasion buff. Next, I would grab Marked Prey to just increase your damage against single target or anything that you need to focus and kill. Lastly, I would put points into Flurry of Arrows. This is what I'm talking about when I'm saying things scale off of Bowshot. So it shoots 32 arrows at rank 2, but they're based off the damage of Bowshot. So it's better to get points in Bowshot to increase the damage that all these arrows you're shooting do. Then you can upgrade the amount of arrows later. As you go on from here, you can start picking up any skills as you see necessary. At this point, when I level up, I will be getting Flurry of Arrows and Marked Prey, then finishing out with Grasping Roots, eventually Power Shot. Power Shot is for a different type of Ranger build. It doesn't really work with this normal kit. I don't recommend getting it early. Also keep in mind, at level 30, you will have enough skill stars to buy everything. So once you have the core, you don't have to worry too much about where you're putting things. Just try to feel it out for yourself and what you feel like you need. Once your town is upgraded and you're around level 15, you can start exploring the idea of trying to complete the tower. I don't recommend this until you're level 15. You have Blacksmith 3, Apothecary 2, and Chapel 3. Say Blacksmith 3 because you want to basically have all of the upgrades from the first, second, and third Blacksmith tier. This will help a lot with just having enough armor and damage and crit for your primary attack to actually kill enemies in a reasonable amount of time before they're able to deal a lot of damage to you. Also, you want your Apothecary to be at least rank 2. This will give you 2 additional potion charges and increase the effectiveness of the potions. So the potions will almost heal for your whole health and mana. Be very useful in a tight spot, but it's not going to be what we're solely relying on to keep us alive. You want tier 3 Chapel for the following reasons. Tier 1 will give you decreased damage taken by 15%. It's really difficult to get damage reduction in this game, and I definitely recommend getting the damage reduction over something, say, as the primary attack damage. It's just a lot more useful. you have 1 life to basically get through the whole tower. You really want defense over damage, especially when starting out the game. Next, you're going to want Blessing of Mind. This increases your mana regen by 100%. Any point of mana regen you get, it's going to be increased, and that's just going to really help you with sustaining your Flurry of Arrows and your Grasping Roots. Lastly, you want to get Symbol of Essence. This will give you lifesteal on your primary attack. It's going to be our main way to sustain life. For the shop, you want to roll the shop until you find Amulet of Kings. Amulet of Kings gives us much needed magic resist at this level. The most scary enemies for our character is going to be range characters, because melee we can kite, and the range characters that are going to scare us the most are going to be ones that deal magic damage. So I heavily recommend getting Amulet of Kings for starting your run. There are other items you could start with, but I feel none are as good as Amulet of Kings. You don't have to worry about what the other items are. I would just buy all of them. Also, don't forget to buy keys. Usually buy 8 keys of each type. As I go higher in NG levels, I will buy more keys, as you most likely will run out with this amount, but I can't justify spending too much more money than this. Next up we have drinks. No drinks are required for NG0, but some are definitely recommended. The first drink would be Smelly Old Man. In the chapel we take Blessing of Mind. That increases our mana regen by 100%. So this will go from 2 mana regen to 4 mana regen, which is really going to help sustain our skill cost. Next we're going to take Crazy Eye. Crazy Eye is a chance to crit on our primary attack. This is what's going to be the bulk of our damage at the cost of some armor. If you found the anvil at this part of the game, you can consider crafting a common item. Some of the best items include disarm/stun items and evasion items. You will have to have found the pattern to use those items. So I haven't found all of them at this point. The only disarm item I found is Defender's Halberd, but there's also Blackjack, which is a stun on hit. And there's also Gladiator's Net, which is a disarm on hit. Evasion items include Slippery Cloak, gives us 6 evasion. There's also Trickster's Boots, but we don't have those. Last thing we need to talk about is the Fountain. The Fountain can basically make or break a run, depending on what you pick. You can make it really hard by doing certain negatives, or you can make it really easy by doing certain positives. And I would recommend doing different setups depending on what you're trying to do in the game. Trying to get gold, I would use one setup. If you're trying to get XP, I'm going to use another setup. If you're trying to beat the tower, you're going to do another setup. So this is what I would recommend for as a setup if you're going to try to beat the tower. One, I'll take General Traps. Just want to always take less damage from traps. Traps are an easy way to die if you're not paying attention, and having to worry less about them is always a good thing. Next, I'm going to take Safe Corridors. This is just another one with traps. We're skipping Topple Towers. This is kind of like a trap as well, but since we're a range character, we can kill these towers without too much issue. Next, I'm going to take Tedious Expedition. Since we don't have to take Topple Towers, we can use those points in something else. That's going to be Expeditious Expedition. As a range character, it's important that we have good movement speed to fight and get away. Next, we have Mysterious Guidance. This is going to increase the chances of finding monoliths. Every monolith buff is good for the ranger, so finding more of those buffs is going to really help out with clearing floors faster and having more damage on bosses for damage reduction. Next, we have Glass Walks. Glass Walks enables you to skip the hard part of some traps and get to treasure chests that you normally wouldn't be able to, giving us more items, making us even stronger. Treasure Hunt also does something similar, where we have additional chance for more chest rooms. There's going to be more items for us. So with this positive favor, we have to balance it out with some negative favor. Since we're not sustaining our character with health and mana pickups, we're sustaining with mana regen from the chapel and our drinks, and we're also sustaining our life from the chapel. We're going to take lousy consumables. Next, we're going to take enemy reinforcements. More enemies isn't always a bad thing, and in this case, it just gives you more XP. Next up, we have enemy overseers. Mini bosses spawn on every floor now. This is really good because it seems like a negative, but really the mini bosses will drop items for you, will drop keys for you. And it's really helpful to have enemy overseers. They probably on average give you a few extra items and a few keys each run. We also want to do agile adversaries, increase the movement speed of enemies. So we were talking about it matters to be a fast range character to kite, but from what I've noticed, even them being agile, they don't really catch up to me, or they're not fast enough to actually hit me. So agile is still really good here, and for -6 favor, it's really not a downside. That is a lot of favor for this effect. Next up, dry springs. As we said before, we're not relying on potions, so I take dry springs and we're going to stick to our 3 potions. Won't be able to refill them. If you need more potions, you can update the town hall more and buy even more potions from the apothecary, but I just recommend using the smelly old man and the chapel bonuses. That's going to cost you 450 to lock these in, and then you're ready to start the run. Well, that's the ranger setup we use to beat NG0. If you would like to see me use this build in action, I will put a video up here. Thanks everyone for watching. We'll see you guys next time. If you enjoyed this video, please like, comment, subscribe, and I'll see you in the next one.